Okay, we're going to start with introductions at this end.
Bryce Ferguson, I'm a counselor at the town of Slave Lake.
Rebecca King, Councillor, Town of Slave Lake.
Shirley Torzan Shakurda, Board Chair and Member at Large.
Julie Brandel, Town of Slave Lake Councillor.
Taylor Kellum, Member at Large.
And Samantha Dick, Acting Director of Planning and Development.
Okay, adoption of agenda. Is there any additions? Nothing. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda? Bryce, call the question. Those in favor? Carried. Minutes of previous meetings for September 20th, page 2. Any corrections? Nothing. Can I get a motion to adopt minutes? Julie, call the question. Those in favor? Carried. Business arising from the minutes? Anyone? No? Okay, on to development permit applications, page 11, Corey Stab.
So the purpose of this report is for the MPC to consider an application for a variance to the front yard setback of a detached dwelling front steps. Mr. Stab is coming forward because he decided to change from a wooden set of steps to cement. And this created the steps just a little bit larger than he had originally planned. Originally, he was going to meet the 7.5 meter setback easily. I've given you the regulations from the land use bylaw with regards to front yard setbacks, projections over top of that, as well as the variance powers of the MPC. So on September 2nd, on September 2nd, 2020, development permit 660820 was issued for a detached dwelling on an R1A low density residential district lot. During the course of the build, Mr. Stab came back to the planning department and requested to use concrete for his front steps instead of wood. And as this was not a concern, the development officer approved that change. However, in September of 2021, the landowner came back to the planning department to find out how far the steps could extend onto the front yard. The development officer provided those regulations of the land use bylaw to Mr. Stab. As he wasn't quite sure where his property line ended and the distance he would need to project, the planning department requested that Mr. Stab submit a revised site plan detailing the new front yard setback. So in accordance with section 62(2)A of the land use bylaw, the front steps may project over or onto the front yard for a maximum of 1.2 meters. The required front yard setback is 7.5 meters, and that makes the allowable projection for the required front yard then to be 6.3 meters. So once the planning department received the revised site plan from Mr. Muellum, who is Mr. Stab's surveyor, it was evident that the variance permit would be required and that the variance was larger than the development officer could grant. As per the amended site plan by Mr. Muellum, the revised front yard setback from the unenclosed deck and steps is 5.31 meters. And as a requested variance must be from the original front yard setback, this means that a 29.2% variance is required. Now, the planning department has no concerns with this application and feel that it should not have any negative impacts on the neighbors and request the MPC approve.
I have a question, Sam. Sure. On the site plan, it shows like a curved.
Yes.
They're coming out from the steps. Is it just one step down or is there a flight of steps going down?
There is a flight of steps. I believe there's, I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 because this house is very tall.
And they are these, is it all curved all the way down?
No, just I believe the bottom one is curved in the for the purpose. So what he asked me about, because he wanted to do the cement, was that he have the bottom step curved so he could put big planters on either side of the bottom step. Okay.
So the steps themselves are they extending past the front of the garage?
Yes.
It would have been.
So if it had been just to the front of the garage, then it would have been 7.61 meters to the front yard for the front yard setback.
Yeah.
And so I highlighted, I don't know if you can see it very well, the 5.31, which is where the setback comes then from the front, the very bottom step.
Yeah, the drawing isn't really that clear, so.
Yes, that's because we have a lot grade plan as well as a site plan, all on one document, which I have informed the surveyor I would appreciate not ever receiving again.
Yeah, good. I'll make the motion. Is there any discussion? No, call the question. Those in favor? Carried.
Awesome.
Number 6, land use bylaw, nothing. 7, no proposed subdivisions. 8, other business. Nothing. 9, MPC development concerns. No. 10, next meeting, November 1st, and adjourn. Thanks, everybody.
Short and sweet.